Leo, very warm welcome. My name's Drew. This is Modern Tarot. Those of you that are new here, welcome. And those of you returning, welcome back. This is a reading, guys, for the last couple of weeks of July 2025. And so far, I hope your July is going well and dandy and you're all happy and living your best lives, Leo. Those of you that celebrate birthdays a bit later on, 23rd onwards, happy early birthday to you guys. So one more shuffle and we're going to go straight into this, Leo. Queen of Cups wanted to show itself there, and the seven of Wands. Some of you might be guarding your emotions. You might be emotionally guarded. All right. Queen of Cups is here. This is you finding balance, okay, by being a little bit guarded and holding back a little bit, Leo. You know, not giving too much. All right. Center of the reading, we've got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Okay, so some cycles might not have closed out. You know, the Wheel of Fortune talks about destiny, guys. It talks about a brand new beginning. And so the center of the reading is, you know, things might not have closed out, but it's only a couple of weeks in July we're talking about here. So things might have not have come to a natural end where you're beginning a new cycle. All right, the challenge is some kind of competition. If this is about work, you know, you might not have felt that, you know, you might not feel that things are going in your favor, Leo, throughout the last couple of weeks of July, due to maybe, you know, candidature. Is that even a word? You know, other candidates applying for positions and these kind of things. All right. So just what's your thoughts around that? Okay. Reason why it's all happening. Some of you guys want to come out of feeling left out in the cold. If this is about love, you know, the wheel's not turning, things aren't transforming, there's no new cycle. It may be due to some kind of drama, which has made you, you know, it's like competing for somebody's time, care, and attention. And it's made you feel a little bit left out in the cold, but you're coming out of that now, or you want to come out of the Five of Pentacles energy, Leo. All right, recent past, there might have been a brand new offer of love, or this could be an apology. I'm going to clarify this reading as I go. Recent past, Page of Cups. Some of you might have entered into a new relationship there. You're wondering, is this destined? You know, seem to be competing for their time. You know, maybe it's hard to get hold of this person, just for some of you. Not a personal reading, guys. Okay. Your focus, you're making major life decisions throughout the last couple of weeks of July, Leo. When judgment shows up, it really is, you know what? I'm going to crack this code. I'm going to get going. I'm making a definitive decision about direction in life, what I want, what my needs are, what my focus should be. So you might find that people will see you as being very decisive, not wishy-washy at all, which is great, Leo. Okay, what you don't see coming towards you, either you letting go or someone's letting go. You know, the Four of Pentacles, you know, it talks about holding on. It's the miser card. I'm holding on to my money, my finances, my attention, my care. Keeping it all for myself. Okay, so you might be letting go of something, Leo. All right, what it is right now, I'm not sure, but we're going to go through this. Okay, your energetic field is one of feeling a little bit stuck. And, you know, sometimes we can feel stuck, Leo, when, you know, people aren't really showing up. You know, there's no forward movement, you know. We're competing for people's time, care, and attention, you know, competition, and all these kind of things. If it's about work, you might feel energetically stuck. You're waiting for some kind of decision, you know, with the judgment there, you're waiting. It's a focus of yours. Outside influences, all right, some kind of argument, guys, some kind of crosswords. These are, you know, the Five of Swords. Can talk about conflicts. Could be an internal conflict, guys, whatever's going down. Your fears, Knight of Wands. Are you fearing someone is making you compete for their attention, Leo, and you just don't see that this is destined. It's a fear of yours that, you know, is this person here for maybe a couple of pages of my book, a chapter of my book, or are they here for the whole book? But it's a fear of yours that, you know, is this just a fling? It's just an in and out thing, all right? Just for some of you, not a personal reading, guys. Okay, outcome for you throughout the last couple of weeks of July, Leo, death, okay? It's a great card. It's a card of transformation. Where there's an ending, there's a brand new beginning. But this is transformation. Now, this could be something to do with your decisions that you're going to be making throughout the month of July, Leo. So let's have a look. Let's clarify this reading now. See what's going to be happening for you. So, Leo, first of all, what was this Page of Cups in the recent past? All right, can be a brand new offer of love, an apology, all these kind of things. All right, let's have a look. It can also be the start of a creative endeavor, just for some of you in the recent past, and maybe you're putting it out there into the world, and you're waiting for responses in a something that might be quite a highly competitive field. Look, we've got the Page of Cups, and then we've got the Ten of Cups in reverse. So this can be an apology. Somebody might have disrupted your emotional bliss, and they're apologizing about it in the recent past. If it's not, it's a brand new offer of love. But are you seeing, rainbows and unicorns in this new offer of love, Leo? Right? Center of the reading, Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Okay, some of you, something might not have gone in your favor or is not going to go in your favor regarding money. Okay, just watch that. Your expectations around an offer, Leo, throughout the last 2 weeks of July. Okay, the challenge is, we've got the Five of Wands. Okay, so for some of you guys, you don't feel it's destined to take a commitment from somebody, okay? Just for some of you. Because you feel that you need to compete for their time, care, and attention, and it just makes you feel stuck, and that's a bit of a challenge. You want to come out of feeling out in the cold and free yourself, Leo, from whatever this is. I'm going to clarify again in this reading, but you want to free yourself because you're tired of feeling stuck. All right, you're making a decision. All right, your focus is, you know what, I'm losing the passion in this, and you would, if someone's not showing up, or, if somebody might be a bit immature when it comes to love and these kind of things, and you're thinking, is this solid? I want to make a decision, about where my passions lie. Am I feeling the passion in this? Ace of Wands in reverse. Okay, what you don't see coming towards you is either you, Leo, or somebody might be letting go and communicating that they're letting go of the connection. And that might be due to you wanting to free yourself, but they might nip it in the bud and go, "Oh, okay, this isn't working." It's like an ego thing where they feel that you're on the way out because this person isn't showing up, and they feel it energetically, and so they kind of beat you at the post by delivering that news. All right, it can be just ego, guys. So watch that. All right, yeah, feeling stuck doesn't make you happy, Leo. You're a fire sign. It's all about action. Let's climb this mountain. Let's do this. And I think when you're dealing with people that you've got to compete for their time, care, and attention, making you feel stuck and feeling a bit left out in the cold or lack, that just makes you unhappy. All right, you want to keep it moving. You want the Wheel of Fortune to turn upright. Yeah, outside influences, this kind of like conflict just makes you feel anxious and these kind of things. You're fearing the Knight of Wands. Some of you are fearing that someone's a bit of a player. They're not single. It's a fear of yours. Yeah, maybe that is the case. All right. Okay, but the outcome for you last couple of weeks of July, you're gonna cut anything out, Leo. You're going to be strong about this. You realize that your fire might be dampened throughout the last couple of weeks of July, and then you're going to go, you know what, I'm cutting this out and I'm letting it end. So let me clarify now and see what this is all about. What was the Page of Cups? Recent past, can be an apology, new offer of love, but you weren't really feeling that it was your Ten of Cups. Let's have a look. Some of you might have thought, yeah, it's kind of sweet and all these kind of things, but I don't really see it being my be all and end all. It was hard to move on, but I needed to for my own sanity. There's you, Leo. Maybe internal conflicts, or there was conflicts about maybe immature behavior, these kind of things, and you just thought, you know what? All right, I've got to move on from this. Yeah, look, you don't feel it's destined. All right, somebody might want to offer something stable to you, but you don't feel that you can be and relax and be your authentic self around this person, Leo. Throughout the last couple of weeks of July, remember it's only 2 weeks, guys. It can all change, You can spin on a dime, they say. But, you know, the challenge is competition and feeling stuck. Why is that? I don't think you're feeling the depth in whatever this is, Leo. You don't feel the depth here. And you're wondering whether, this person has an ulterior motive or hidden agenda. And you kind of want to free yourself from these feelings of lack and anxious attachments, from people that they're not showing up in the correct way for you, okay? Okay, so some of you might be making a decision that, yeah, I've lost the passion in this kind of thing. I don't really want a new start. I do still think about this person. I do look for them. And that's normal, guys, when we've spent time with people that, familiar places and faces and things can trigger that, reminiscing state, where we think about the person. But I just think that you don't feel it's destined anymore. Yeah, look, some of you might be letting go of someone, okay, Leo, and there might be communication, and you might have to communicate. This person might think that you're playing games with your silence, but it's not a game. You actually mean it, that you're letting go, and you might need to communicate that with them, okay? Your energetic field. Yeah, look, you feel stuck and unhappy, all right? And I think your intentions, Leo, when you do get involved and you invest your heart in things, even projects, all right, when it comes to work, you know, Leos are, they're very family orientated. It's all about looking after their loved ones, right? Along with that fire taking action. And it's like I was only in it for fun. I was never serious. In reverse, which means, feeling stuck with people that aren't really serious. There might be age differences or immaturity when it comes to emotions. You know, you've no time for people that, are just in things for fun and they're not serious. Outside influences, I can do better than you. I've come to know this. Some of you guys are dropping it and having to communicate to someone, hey, look, my silence isn't a game, I'm actually meaning it. It's not working out. Don't feel it's destined. I'm making a decision that I've just lost passion in this. Okay, yeah, look, your fears, Leo, throughout the last couple of weeks of July, you fear the Knight of Wands, these opportunists, these people that are coming in for a good time, not a long time, they're there for a season, not a reason. You're wondering, are they really single? Maybe they're codependent to attention. And look at this card, I can't make this up, can I? I needed attention for all the wrong reasons, and you gave it freely too freely. So it's a fear of yours that, your attention is being taken advantage of by opportunists and people that are a little bit immature. Throughout the last couple of weeks of July, Leo, you're getting very serious and going, I'm not wasting my time. I'm happy to let things end and cut them out. Okay? Because look, you realize we never spend any quality time together. I think it's very difficult to spend quality time with the Knight of Wands. They're restless. They want to keep it moving. They're opportunists. Wherever I lay my hat, my home is my home. You can't build anything with those. They're different. It seems to me they're very different, from you, Leo. And you're realizing I can't spend quality time. Some of you might be quite thankful, for the lessons. You know, some of you might be thinking of traveling. Um, Watch out, all right? I think this has come out in a reading for you before that somebody might want to, in order to get back in your good graces, offer you a trip away or these kind of things. Somebody you might decide to go for that, all right, throughout the last couple of weeks of July. But you want to free yourself, Leo, throughout the last couple of weeks, all right? It was all far too immature. I found it exhausting. I think some of you guys, it's not a personal reading, remember. You just found someone to be a little bit in and out. Yeah, a little bit romantic there with the Page of Cups, but it's not cutting the rug when it comes to building emotional bliss and this happy ever after. It's just it might be like a little bit fly by night and a little bit immature for you. you know and you know what, some of you Might surprise yourself. You let go and you actually communicate. My silence isn't a game. Please leave me be. I'm done. It's not working out. It doesn't have to be done throughout malice. I think it's just because you've come to major life decisions here and realizations that, you know what, I'm not passionate. This is actually taking away from my zest for life, you know? And this person actually might regret their choices, but they know they've got to live with them now, Leo. It's quite an interesting reading in that respect. Tell me more. If it is about love for you guys throughout the last couple of weeks of July, all right, let's have a message for love. What to expect, and some advice on how to handle it. You realize, Leo, this person isn't worth waiting for. With the Wheel of Fortune in reverse here and the Ace of Pentacles, you're looking for something more stable. It's the center of the reading, right? Worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. I don't think you feel that this person's worth waiting around for. Free yourself. Time to take back control of your life, Leo. All right? Retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. And this is about your silence, My silence is not a game, please leave me be. It's like you're just retreating from a situation, happy to let it end, happy to cut it out. Just watch out that someone might make desperate attempts to win you back, Leo, win your good graces, by offering you trips away and all these kind of things. Why didn't you show up as a king in the first place instead of a page? Do you know what I mean? I think you've wised up and you're making major decisions about this is taken away from my zest for life and my passion, my fire. I want to climb mountains, I don't want to be swimming in this current of immaturity, swimming upstream all the time. I want to go with the flow and feel zest for life and passion, It just makes me unhappy and I feel stuck. So, something to consider, all right, throughout the last couple of weeks, all right? Something that might be quite important to you, a message, a mantra. Base chakra in reverse wanted to show itself there, guys. It just makes you feel unstable, this kind of behavior or these kind of people. Let's have a look. For you, Leo, dreams, pay attention to your dreams, all right? Messages, signs, symbols, and guidance. Signs and symbols are everywhere. Watch out for them. Whatever the medium, that they reveal themselves to you. I had a client, I think I spoke about this in a previous reading. I had a client, she used to get messages on T-shirts, the most random messages ever, and they always came at the right time. And the more she accepted the messages, the more they would arrive. It'd be a long story, but, it's fascinating. So pay attention to your dreams, your signs and symbols. And remember, the subconscious speaks in symbols. It's not linear, Some of you guys might decide to keep a dream journal. Emotions, feelings, expression, moods, and balance. Okay, that's going to be your focus throughout the last couple of weeks of July is, trusting your intuition. Might be a highly spiritual time for some of you guys. Trusting your intuition, paying attention to your dreams, and balancing your emotions. Because you realize that I'm making decisions now about recapturing my zest for life. And I'm looking to build. I want to spend quality time with someone. And I'm willing to communicate it. Okay? I'm willing to communicate that. Self-expression, exchange, sharing, and connection. So you're going to be authentic. You're going to communicate, hey, look, it's not working out for me. My silence is not a game, Please leave me be. Somebody might blow up your phone because you're distancing yourself, Leo. Just for some of you, it's not a personal reading. If you're a song throughout the last couple of weeks of July, all right, the lyrics might mean something. The band might mean something. The title itself might just mean something. Or even the melody might evoke certain feelings within you that are there to be brought up and healed. Unbreak My Heart, Tony Braxton. Unbreak My Heart, Tony Braxton. Some of you are freeing yourselves. And maybe some of you are actually freeing yourselves from attachment styles, like certain kinds of characters that you would attract into your life, Leo, purely because of your natural fun-loving sociability, your fire. You attract, all sorts of characters, that don't possess that. And so they come your way, but they're not showing up in the correct way. And I think, you've no time for it, But just watch out that, there might be some people that want to come back because they fear that you're losing. They think that your silence is a game, that you're playing a game. But you're not, Leo, for the last 2 weeks of July. You're actually being serious and making serious life decisions about your zest for life and people that take away from your zest for life. Let's have a look. So one of these, all right, something else to consider, guys, something that might be important throughout the last couple of weeks of July. Let's have a look. Growth, Leo. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. You realize, okay, with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse here, you can't grow with immature people. They will just keep you stuck and anxious, when, the Leo fire wants to new experience places and things, climbing mountains, what else is out there? Let's discover the world, let me discover my world. But I can't do that with someone that just makes me, it's just anxious to be around these people. And it causes internal conflicts within you, Leo, you know? Yeah, it's quite an interesting reading there. Let's have a look. And that's the way, when you start pulling away energetically, people feel it. And that's when they start trying to show up with false promises and these kind of things, guys. But, your mantra should be, Leo, you know what? Show up as a king or a queen at the start, I don't want to fall in love with the potential. I want to fall in love with what is. And you're just not cutting the rug there for Leo. I'm sorry. My silence isn't a game. Leo has left the building, And it might be just for 2 weeks, guys, setting boundaries and going, hey, look, this ain't working for me, I don't want to feel like this. I'm making serious decisions now about my life, about who's in it, people, places, and things, careers, lost the passion for this career, I'm happy to let it end there and cut it out and follow, my passions. I want to leave you one of these, guys. All right. So this is a mantra, a positive message for you, Leo. Good reading. All right. It looks like some of you are getting very clear about, people that you just can't build with, Leo. And this could be family and friends, all these kind of things where it's just like, what? I don't want the drama and the gossip and all these kind of things. All right. Talk to me about ideas. Inspire me. New beginnings, Leo. An exciting shift is on its way. A new job, project, promotion, or home is in the works. All right. New beginnings here. Look, the outcome, the death card. Endings and brand new beginnings. Willing to cut stuff out that don't sit in line with who you are and your fire, Leo. You're glowing. You're glowing from the inside out. Choose to feel good about yourself, Leo. You will only attract positive people, circumstances, and opportunities by doing so. Do not dim your fire for anybody the last couple of weeks of July. And certainly, I'll leave these little page of cups to play their little games and be immature elsewhere. You are glowing. You deserve a king or a queen in your life, someone that you can climb a mountain with. Leo, I hope you enjoyed that. My name's Drew. This is Modern Tarot. If you like the content, please like, share, or subscribe. It means I can continue to do this for free for you. If you want a personal reading, you can reach out at moderntarot.net or browse the YouTube Modern Tarot store, and I'll do my best to give you some clarity on your personal situations. In the meantime, have an amazing month. Leave all this in the dust and follow your passion, Leo. Turn this upright. Take care. I'll see you back here for another reading. Bye, Leo.